The other interesting thing that I read was that they were also willing to spend more. And a great sort of somewhat pedestrian example of that is how now with Starbucks, where gourmet coffee, where at one point was thought to be expensive, is really now replacing, say, in some way, the cafe coffee days and things like that. And they are willing to, experience quality and pay for it. So do you think that is going to lead to further innovation in what you're serving, for example, already at the ITC, where you have, if we speak specifically of the Indian young diner, you already have very traditional, very well thought of, very highly regarded options. Do you think that's going to lead to some innovation?
You see, the people, the today's generation, or the X generation, they're very well knowledgeable now. They're very well aware, and there is a lot of channels, the social media, print, electronics, or many others, or the food channels or the food shows have made people very much aware about the food. They know what they expect. So similarly, the people who are involved in the food business, we also have to be very knowledgeable and understand and give them. That's what I mean to say, that we mean whatever we write on the menu, we must produce exactly like that. That by reading the menu, what they perceive in their mind, that what the dish is going to be, they must get that. If there is any disconnect between the concept, between the food and the service, and definitely they will not like it. They are not fussy, as the older generation used to be for the service and the food. They understand many things. They have a dignity of labor much more than what, for the hotel industry, I am saying, what it used to be before. So it's very comfortable with them. But the thing is that you have to be very truthful to them. They cannot take any, different kind of mistakes or some surprises or something like that. That has to be very, very clear to them. And more important, they are very well aware of their well-being. So they are very much interested. They want to know each and every ingredient which is in the food, why it is there. We should be able to tell them why we are using this particular ingredient. What is the reason? What the value this particular ingredient is adding into the dish. So for all these things, they are very, very particular. And we have to be very clear with that in communication to them. Communication is very, very important to them as far as food is concerned.
And just to anyone on the panel, when it comes to, our food is normally, or basically good eating has traditionally been associated with a certain type of decadence, historically. And now you have a generation which is far more health conscious, thinks a lot more about ethical dining, and those kind of considerations where nearly sort of loading up on indulgent ingredients, and experiences is not going to deliver on that promise. So how do you think you're going to have to innovate in terms of the food, in terms of location, service, to accommodate millennials?
I would say that Indian food is so diverse and so vast that it has got things and dishes for every palate, every body type, or every condition you have in your body. Indian food has more than innovation. I would say if we start exploring more and go into deep and find out dishes, we have all different kinds of weather in our country. And there are so many trendy, there are so many exotic dishes in our cuisine that can come in forefront and worthy of being served in a fine dining restaurant. And only thing is, we have to explore them and slightly simplify them, that the person who is going to eat it can understand it. What chef is saying, like he can understand it, then he'll be ready to think. And we don't have to go out. In India only we can find all these things, all these healthy things or heavy things. Everything is there in Indian cuisine.
The next gen, and the millennials, what they're looking at, I'm personally thinking, and we have had a lot of panel discussion within our own office also. So what they are thinking, we have divided food into 3 categories, and the takers for that. One is they like comfort food, which is where you go to what is like sambar, dal, chawal, butter chicken, and tandoori chicken, and pizza. So that is a comfort food. And one is Frenchization, modernistic cuisine, which is there. And the third one now has become night food. All these people they wake up late at night, they're playing, and then they're on the computers, and that is why if you go on Amazon, Google, and you see the night deliveries, they're all happening between 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. in the morning. So there was a joke that I was sharing with someone. The angel asked God, these new people, there's some new generation that has come. They're only looking in the palms whole day and whole night. What are they doing? So God says they're looking at the computer. So they are basically the ones you have to cater to. So a lot of night delivery kitchens would also come in, and it's a big business to be there.
I just think that, we're comfort food, and I think exploring ethnic Indian cuisine is really going to be the thing that's going to be emerging. I see in our menus we have burgers, of course, but we also have keema pav, and we have cutlass pav, and ladi pav, and vada pav, and I think that a lot of people, at least the millennials, are moving away from the burgers, and they are actually finding the pavs a lot more interesting. They're more interested in a paratha now than a pizza, in a sense.
Yeah, and I just like to add that it also makes good commercial sense. I don't think that multi-cuisine is the only way to go. Nostalgia also is a very good cuisine, and we did something called Rivayat, where we spend about 4 million or so to train 40 chefs across our company, and in the first 6 months we've already got about 10 million back, and I think next year is going to be another 25 million on that. So it was a training thing which has actually been converted into a revenue generation stream, and it's all Indian food.
What about younger chefs? Are you seeing this sort of trend with them also? Are they trying to step up to the plate? With the diners, that's what's happening, but what about the chefs?
Yeah, I think younger chefs are equally open as far as new ideas are concerned, because they are also young and they know what youngsters want. And if I look at the overall, let's just go back to a little history of the Indian food. You see, over the years, Indian cuisine has evolved with the changing trends today, right? And it was required, we wanted to come out of that Shahzani only and talk about Akbari chicken and thing like that. When we were opening this restaurant, Monsoon, which is our contemporary Indian fine dining restaurant, we had a lot of debating sessions, what to do. Should we make it totally modern? People like that? Or should we, go to the another level where people never heard about Indian food? We had a lot of sessions. Finally, we came to the conclusion that we have to prepare a food which is contemporary, yet, retaining its roots. The authenticity should not go away at all. So we took that food to the next level, presenting each and every dish with an absolutely twist. And at the same time, offering very traditional cuisine, you see. So initially the response was very lukewarm, but over the time it has picked up so well. So talking about the youth also, you see, the young chefs want to learn. Because you see today, what is modern Indian cuisine? It's the same cuisine which is, you are experimenting, with other ingredients. Whereas, of course, we have traditional too. We should not deviate from them. We should not deviate from our traditional cuisines at all. We must, if we call it a, gosht dalcha or Hyderabadi murg biryani, that we must serve the absolutely authentic. But I think today young generation has a platform. There are no boundaries as far as creativity is concerned, compared to 4 decades back, 3 decades back. So they also want to experiment new. Today, with this contemporary fine dining, you can play around with the ingredients, which was never there in our times. So we have also changed, so is the young generation. They are absolutely open. They want to create, they want to come up with new idea, but we always tell them one thing: don't forget the roots of Indian cuisine. Do not ever. Thank you.
I just tell you that the chef is never old. If you are a chef, you are never old, because you always think for the future. And you cannot think for the future, if I am conceptualizing food or if I am making a plate today, not to consume today only. It is for tomorrow. So the chef is never old.
Yeah, I stand corrected. So Chef Manish, you wanted to add something to that, I think?
The young chef, the type of young chef now coming in industry is very, very good, and they are very creative. They have seen a lot of things because of the impact of internet and all these television and everything. They are quite knowledgeable, and they want to do a lot of different things and new things, definitely with Indian ingredients. In India, we really face a lot of difficulties to procure good ingredient, the type of ingredients you get in Europe or Australia. But the thing is, with the Indian ingredients, they are quite ready to do a lot of different things.
Also, I think we need to make it more aspirational for these youngsters. Now with chefs like Manish here and Chef Gagan is here, and people look up to it and say, yeah, it's a great thing. Let me also move into Indian food. You know, previously we had Chef Gill, who we would look up to and say, yeah, we need to move into Indian food. But for many of us, when we were growing up, the reason to get into Indian food would be, okay, let me study Indian cuisine and then I'll go to London and work there because the money is there. Now if restaurants open, good Indian restaurants here, and they start making money, they will start employing more Indian chefs. And then more people will take up the profession, youngsters will be drawn towards it. Otherwise everyone wants to go probably on French or Italian or something where the revenues are much higher.
Thank you. I'm not sure how we're doing on time, but do we have time for questions from the audience? No? I think we've run over. We've run over.
Sorry, we are late.
Okay.
The organizers are late.
The organizers are late. So maybe one question from the audience and then we'll close it out. Anyone? Just ask anyone on the panel a question? No? Anything? Anything you'd like to? Last words? Anyone? Chef Gill? No? Thank you so much. It's been a wonderful panel discussion, and thank you for contributing.